Hello everybody and welcome to the latest episode of Media Voices. This season, as you'll know, we're doing deep dives into some of the biggest trends, tools and tech that has affected publishers over the past 12 months. Now that's as part of our annual Media Moments 2023 report, which is going to be released early December. And you can pre-register for that at voices.media/MM23. But this week, we're going to be talking about everything to do with subscriptions, and so we are delighted to be joined by Zamir Walimohamed, who is the head of digital marketing and subscriptions at Motorsport Magazine. So Zamir's played a pivotal role in driving Motorsport Magazine's digital expansion and the marketing initiatives around that. He's got a keen eye for this evolving media landscape, so we're delighted to have him, and he spearheads strategies to amplify the magazine's online presence, increasing subscriber engagement and maximizing digital revenue streams. So Zamir, thank you so much for taking the time to come and have a chat with us.
Oh, thank you very much for having us, guys.
And as ever, I've forgotten to introduce myself, so I'm Chris Sutcliffe.
And I'm Peter Houston.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, subscriptions, where do you even start at this point? Because it has been such a focus for the media landscape for as long as there has been a media landscape. Peter, you have much more experience in terms of this than I do. But while we've got Zamir, I wondered...
Can I just pile in a second? I think what's really interesting, Zamir's been at Motorsport now for in publishing terms, a long time. You've been there for about 10 years, Zamir, is that right?
Thank you, Peter, for rubbing it in. In fact, you know what? I celebrated my 12th year anniversary not long ago.
Congratulations.
It's true. I have been here for a long time. And, well, you know, if you're having fun, why stop?
But I reckon over those 10 years... You know, that's the kind of 10 years that subscriptions and reader revenue has really come back into play. So you must have seen a lot of change in that time.
I have. I feel like I'm going to probably tell you guys something that you probably already know to some degree extent. You know, the most significant shift has obviously been the transition from print to digital. You know, we've got, growing consumer willingness to pay for premium digital content that probably wasn't around before. You know, but with that, you know, for us at Motorsport, this transition hasn't, just presented its own challenges, particularly in assisting some of our long-standing readers to, navigate their subscriptions online. Because obviously, if it becomes digital, you have to use more digital solutions in order to accommodate that. And so what we've had to do is making sure that a lot of our systems are well integrated. So something like our email service provider is fully integrated with our subscription management solution. And what that allows us to do is to making sure that we're able to send, tailored communication to subscribers, informing them and educating them about the wealth of digital content available at their fingertips as part of their subscription package, whether that be online, in your app, or newsletter preferences that are available to them.
That's an interesting one, because you guys have been going since 1924, is that right?
That is correct. Next year, we'll be celebrating our 100th anniversary.
Wow. Very nice.
And you've got readers that have been reading the magazine literally for decades.
Listen, it wouldn't surprise me if I've got somebody that said they've been reading us since the beginning of time. But on a serious note, we regularly receive comments from customers who have been reading us, since, 10, 20, 30, 40 plus years. One of the things that we're very fortunate about is we have a very loyal readership here at Motorsport.
Without being ageist, I'm allowed to be ageist actually because I'm an old guy these days. to bring some of these older readers on from to a digital subscription, even if they're still getting print and digital, that's got to be quite a communications challenge.
Yes, but I think this probably plays into a bit of the question that Chris kind of asked before. It's about improving the technology stack that you have within your ecosystem. If you make it easy enough for a consumer to upgrade their subscription online without too many buttons, too many clicks, too many stages, then, it is possible. Everything nowadays is available in your pocket on your mobile phone. So, look, I appreciate there is going to be a level of, or a number of customers that are just going to want to do everything via the old school phone. Which is fine. I accept that. But I think over time, you can funnel people in a right way to take advantage of everything that's being done. Motorsport is investing heavily in its digital infrastructure. The amount of offerings that we do offer online is incredible. Our entire archive from 1924 is available online. That is an incredible resource.
Yeah,
and
amazing.
as part of your subscription, you get access to it. So why wouldn't we want to give that to our customers?
I just think the heritage of a brand like that, 100, never mind magazine publishing, think how much motorsports changed in 100 years. Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
hope you're not going to start telling me about Engine and Sashi.
No, to be honest, I don't know much about that.
I'll need to bring the editorial team on board for that sort of stuff. But one of the other points that Chris mentioned that I probably would want to expand on as well around changes within the subscription space is technology that powers subscriptions. I think that space has changed quite a lot. In fact, I think it's pretty impressive now that you have a number of cloud-based subscription platforms that align basically with best practices. That allow customers to, pay via a number of variety of payment methods, whether that be Apple Pay, PayPal, direct debits. They're able to tailor different offers to customers depending on where they are on preference or geographical locations. So a perfect example for me would be somebody in the US is presented with just a digital-only subscription. The price is displayed in US dollars. It eliminates the delivery address because it's a digital product. And that for me is amazing because 10 years ago, that didn't exist.
And how much of it is off the shelf at the moment now? Because there are, like you said, the investment that has gone into that is unbelievable over the past couple of years. To what extent is it easy now for even smaller publications to pick up very powerful tech stacks to use in their subscription and their subscription marketing just off the shelf?
I would say you can take it off the shelf, but I think the difficulty that a lot of publishers have is our legacy infrastructure that we have in place. A lot of these softwares are plug and play. Anyone new starting up has a broad range of options available to them that just make sense for them to just go into that direction. But someone like Multisport or any other kind of old school publishers out there, we're built differently. We've got a lot of old processes that, in order for us to unplug subscriptions, it's not as easy as plug and play. We've got to unplug 10 different things before we can plug in the new system. But I don't think it's a case of, publishers not believing in the technology because, some of them and some of the larger publishing companies have already done this. They're taking advantage of some very powerful software that's out there. But I do believe over time, a lot more publishers will be taking advantage of this.
Still talking about tech there, where would you say some of the biggest opportunities are? We've seen, rapid progression in terms of how much personalization can be done, in terms of actual flexibility of paywalls. Where would you say that the smart publishers now are actually placing their chips?
I think it's that point you said there, the personalization. I would say, someone like Zephyr, whose paywall solution is exceptionally, and again, they are somebody that you could plug and play within your existing ecosystem. They're very clever, very smart. They offer personalization. You're able to A/B test. You get meaningful data out of their platform. Now, Multisport, we don't use them. But in the future, I would think that is something that will definitely go down the route of doing. I think publishers that are excelling or doing well should be utilizing that sort of technology.
I'm interested in that integration idea that email, I guess, is a huge marketing vehicle for you, and having the data from what people have been looking at to what you're trying to sell them or upsell them or renew is probably massively, massively important. Is that fair?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Email for us is one of our strongest platforms. Over the years, we've developed it and refined it to making sure it accommodates our customer needs. And as I mentioned before, it now integrates into our subscription and website. So we know, depending on what subscription product somebody takes. So as an example, if somebody has purchased a full subscription, a whole bundle subscription, naturally they probably may have wanted the print magazine delivered to their home, but we drop them into a kind of welcome program, kind of saying thank you for subscribing to Multisport. Then a week later, we maybe send them another communication to say, don't forget you have access to a free Multisport app where you're able to access Multisport on the go. And then, keep making them aware of the various options that are available to them for products or services, whether that be the podcast, our database, the 100 years of archive that is all available online. And we drip feed that to them so that they're, as we mentioned before, even the older readers are taking advantage of all of these solutions. And it's important to know that actually in order to take out a subscription to Multisport, you have to supply an email address. So we will always be communicating with them. And probably another example to give to that is naturally we do offer trial subscriptions. And again, that's perfect for us because we funnel those people and treat those people very differently to those that have taken out a straight subscription, because obviously some people that trial and then drop off. We then offer them, options that are available to say to them, well, look, this is what you're missing out on, or this is what, maybe give them another incentive. Maybe they took out a print trial. We then offer them a digital trial because it's slightly cheaper. To tell them maybe you want to take care or take advantage of everything that's available to them online.
And at that point, I suppose that some of the hard costs of acquisition has already been done. You have established a relationship with these people already. So it's actually just a matter of refining your subscription offer to tailor it to what they want.
Definitely. I don't think I've got anything more to say to that one, Chris.
That's totally fair.
That's the best answer ever.
Yes, correct.
Yes, I agree. I concur.
I think it's interesting. I had a conversation the other day, someone talking about, actually they were talking about Apple News, and what they were saying was that it's no longer that kind of spray and pray approach to things. It is all about targeting. It's about really, really digging into what people want.
For me, at Multisport Magazine, Apple News Plus has been a big leap for us. Has been a good stepping stone for us, because naturally, for those that don't know, Apple News is free. Anyone can consume news-based content within Apple News. It's available on all Apple devices, but then Apple also offer Apple News Plus, which is part of their subscription proposition. And what Apple have obviously done is it's an invite only, and this year Multisport was invited to be part of that proposal. So for us, it's been fantastic because I've now been able to engage with a whole new audience that we just never had before. And for me personally, I think it's exceptionally important that publishers take advantage of the amounts of different platform offerings that are out there. We need to recognize the importance of how we distribute our content.
I was just going to say, you were talking there about, almost casting a wide net to reach as large an audience with at least that initial touch point as possible. I wondered, we sort of glossed over it before, but over those 12 years, what have you seen in terms of people's propensity to pay for a digital subscription? Because I expect that it has increased radically, but I just wondered how you've seen that and whether the interplay between that type of subscription for a magazine versus, say, the subscription for a service like, I don't know, Netflix or Xbox Live or whatever has changed. Are people more amenable now to subscriptions no matter what they are subscribing to online?
I would say yes. If you think about, the economic challenges that have been going on for Multisport, our subscriptions have been really good. They've exceeded expectations, if anything. And the results we've observed suggest that in times of uncertainty, we just prioritize reliable and high quality content that aligns with their passion. Our performance has not just met, but has surpassed our targets in terms of revenue and volume, which is fantastic for us. And moving forward into the new year, I see that both growing.
This thing about the magazine, you still talk, it's still there, so prominent in the name, but obviously a lot of what we're talking about is digital. That heritage, I guess, is really important because that's how people know the brand. But there's a little bit more than that going on, isn't there? It's almost like you've talked about the content, and it's that idea of, this is a magazine. This is not just a website. Is that a fair way of describing what you guys are trying to do?
Yes, I would say so. I think it's worth noting that there's obviously a number of other businesses out there with Multisport in their name in some way,
right,
shape or form. So including magazine helps us reinforce our identity. But like you said, Peter, I think retaining the word magazine in our branding reinforces the rich heritage and authoritative journalism that Multisport has delivered for many years. It resonates really well with our current core audience who value depth and quality, which, aids in persuading new subscribers who are seeking that sort of substance and tradition. I would also say, the word magazine implies a collection of content that is not just timely but timeless. We were talking about this before. How I regularly get comms from subscribers that have been subscribing to us for decades, and I think that's important. That sense of lasting value that encourage. And I think that helps both digital and print subscriptions, because it represents content that's worth coming back to. And I think we see that quite a lot, because besides the magazine, one of the other things that Multisport does here, we publish specials on a regular basis, which is a collection of content from previous years into what we call bookazines or specials. Whether that be on particular car marks like Ferrari, Porsche, or on particular drivers like Jim Clark or Jackie Stewart.
I hate that word bookazine, but as a business opportunity, it's amazing. It's just one of those words. It's like, oh my God, it's amazing the opportunities that you've got buried in that archive.
Well, yes, and I think maybe Multisport is very fortunate in that sense. Something that we did a number of years ago. We started a new program with Readly, whereby we took advantage of that back catalogue, and we are now starting to publish a few of our archive editions into Readly, called Readly Retros. And again, how this helps us as a business is naturally when a magazine first comes out, any monthly title, because Multisport is a monthly title, we get that initial spike. Everyone's really excited. Everyone's reading it online, downloading it on the app, and then it drops off pretty quickly. And then obviously then readers are then waiting for the next issue. So giving readers the ability to kind of say, well, look, here you go. Here's something from 1987, June 1987 or something. Here you go. Enjoy yourselves. This is something that resonates well with them. Or and obviously it's not just random issues. We'll drop a Le Mans special issue during, the time of when Le Mans going on, or at the start of the F1 season, or when it's an anniversary of a particular race or driver anniversary. It's a good time to release those particular issues. And it works well for us because it means our readers are constantly being able to enjoy Multisport throughout the whole month.
So one of the things that happens with subscription marketing, with marketing of all kinds, is that people focus on the perception of value, and you want people to know that they are getting a really, really good value from the subscription. So you've spoken there about partnerships, which obviously add value coming from an external source. I wondered, what can you sort of tell us about what you've learned from doing partnerships and what that actually offers to a subscription business?
Yeah. So besides the standard stuff that I think most publishers tend to do in this day and age, where we list to new subscribers, as well as sometimes existing subscribers, what the benefits are. So before taking out a subscription, you get access to A, B, and C, or whether that be, the offers that are available by taking offer A, you get access to archive, print magazine delivered, where option B means you just have digital access. One of the things that we've done this year is partner up with external partners, brands such as Hornby, F1 Arcade, and Automobilist. And these strategic collaborations are aimed at mutual benefits. What we're doing is we're allowing those external partners to leverage our highly engaged audience, which is an excellent fit for their brands. And we provide these partners with valuable exposure. And in return, we're able to enhance our subscription offers by bundling them with, partner products or creating joint promotional competitions, which serves as an effective way for us to do data capture. So we're able to kind of bring in new people for us at Multisport that probably didn't know about Multisport. So I think that's really important. And it has worked, because a number of these partners, the ones that I've mentioned, there's a few more, but I'll focus on those. If it works well, in the sense that I've seen, people engaging well, we then go about building stronger relationships with these brands. So, for example, with F1 Arcade, if, we're now part of their membership hub. So if you go to F1 Arcade, you play on the simulator, You collect points, then you convert those points for a subscription at Motorsport Magazine.
Sorry, just so I've got that clear. If they perform really, really well in the arcade, they can then exchange those points for a subscription.
That's correct.
Why isn't everybody doing that?
That's Chris on F1 Arcade.
Why is that?
Well, I'm a bit worried
for everything.
I don't know if I should shout about that. I don't want everyone jumping. But to be fair, I should flag that we are the official magazine partner for F1 Arcade, so I'm less worried about somebody else trying to do that. But no, I think it's that. I think it's about breaking those norms of what we think we should be doing, in the sense of the standard kind of, we push a high value subscription. If the high value subscription doesn't work, in fact, all publishers do this. You can log online now and they'll do the standard 3 months for X pounds, and then it does work, because sometimes, bringing in people in from a trial offer is important. But sometimes what we really all need is new data. We need new leads. We need people filling at the top of the funnel, but more importantly, it has to be good data coming in at the top of the funnel. I don't need, Motorsport is a very niche title, I would say. We cover, we're very authoritative, very thorough in the sort of content that we do. It's not, for everyone. Most of our readers are of the older demographic, but that's not saying that a younger audience can't enjoy what we have to offer. So yeah.
I'm actually interested in the Hornby thing. I thought they just did trains.
I was going to say, I'm very excited to hear about the trains.
Yes, so Hornby, I should probably elaborate further, because you're right, Hornby is quite a large brand. So it's actually the Scale Electrics area.
Oh no, Scale Electrics,
which is rare. So last year we did a massive collaboration with them, which worked wonders. Naturally, there's a large portion of our reader base that has a Scale Electrics model set. It is the who doesn't enjoy Scale Electrics? It's incredible.
Absolutely,
I know, 100%. That's honestly, between that and the racing simulator, I think you've just made mine and Peter's day. I think we need to go away, Peter, put our heads together and determine how we can get both Scale Electrics and a VR simulator into our Media Voices ecosystem.
Yeah, that would be nice. Definitely would be nice. So we're laughing, and this is all great fun, but it's been a tough year, for a lot of people. Have you seen a sort of downturn? We talked about the cost of living crisis, and it's become a little bit of a kind of cliche, I think, or maybe not a cliche, but a little bit empty. But has it had a direct impact on your business?
I would say, yeah. In fact, I would say yes. I think there are times when it's been tough. To not say it hasn't been wouldn't be true. But you know what? I would actually now I'll probably give credit to my team. I have a good team here who have we keep an eye on the data, we track what's going on, and we're quite agile to be able to pivot when required. Something that, in fact, probably going back to one of the kind of conversations that we were having at the start, in the sense of what we did at Motorsports to help with stuff like this. We probably was about 4 years ago. We did a complete overhaul of the Motorsport website. It was a complete rebuild of the site, and part of that rebuild was the subscription structure. We shifted from diverting users away from an external site to a more seamless experience within our own domain. We consolidated our subscription offerings from 4 down to 2, so it went from just bundle and digital. And this sort of simplification, along with, which I think is quite interesting, is exclusively offering only continuous payments organically on the site. For us, has been really positive in terms of retention rates and appealing to our most dedicated customers. But at times, not everyone wants to do that. Not everyone wants to commit to a regular DD payment. So this is where it all kind of falls back into that whole making sure everything is seamlessly integrated. So, my team are well aware of the fact that at times people are not converting because they know, they want to give that commitment over to saying, they want to pay every month for a multiple subscription. So, that's when the trial comes into the mix of it, all those collaboration with external partners, and it's been working for us. And actually, coming back to Peter, your point, taking advantage of external partners like Readly, Apple News Plus, Zinio. There's a lot of players out there, multiple. We take advantage of it. It just makes sense.
One of the things that, for years and years and years now, we've heard this phrase subscription fatigue, and every time it always seems to be on the horizon, not yet arriving. I suppose from an expert's perspective, Zamir, from having actually worked within subscriptions, has that been a perennial fear for you? And to what extent do you feel like it is even a real thing?
Well, firstly, Chris, I think I'll take away subscription expert. The guys keep telling me here my job titles, every year keeps growing. I might just need to add the word expert. Expert head of digital.
Do it.
There certainly is a risk for subscription fatigue. But the market is saturated with so many people offering content, with more and more websites ever, coming out of the woodworks. But I would say it's probably going to affect publishers who don't offer a clear, unique selling proposition. Publishers that deliver a solid product with a distinct, high-quality content dedicated to a dedicated audience. I personally believe are going to continue to thrive. The key to avoiding subscription fatigue for me is to provide exceptional value that cannot be easily replicated by other sources. For publishers who have a good understanding of their audience's needs and preferences, and actually invest. It's a hard thing to say, but you've got to invest in meeting those, consistently. And then for me, I think it'll be fine. Another factor that will probably mitigate risks for subscription fatigue is community building. Publishers, that create a sense of community around their content, offering more than just articles. The fact that you can do events, forums, interactive features. At Multisport, we do events, which I think is fantastic. We obviously offer a suite of other products and services. Even small stuff like we've recently reintroduced puzzles online. It means there's more for our subscribers to do online besides just read an article.
I also saw on your website you're selling signed motorsport helmets. Was it Jensen Button's helmet for sale for like $2,000?
Yes, so actually at the launch of the new site, we ventured into a fully fledged kind of e-commerce platform, acting as a marketplace for vendors. So what this meant was, again, it's almost a bit similar to what we did when we discussed the partnership angle, is we have vendors that are aligned with our brand and are able to sell their products to our audience. And it integrates very well. So you could be, using Peter's example there, reading an article on Jensen Button and then see a helmet where you can buy a signed racing helmet by Jensen Button. So everything intertwines and interconnects into one another. And over the years, it's done okay. But there is, I want to probably say this, as something that probably happens quite a lot in the publishing space. That I feel publishers at times try to do too much too quickly. But sometimes it's good to take risks or trial different things because you learn from it and you can adapt from it, and that's how you ultimately grow. It's that part that I mentioned before. If you invest, sometimes not all investments work. You just got to learn from it.
Do you think that the shop idea, the sort of collectibles aspect of that, is almost more important from a community point of view than a revenue point of view? I mean, I'm guessing if you've got other people selling stuff through your platform, you're taking a cut, but it's not going to be massive. But the community value of it has got to be huge, right?
Both good for us, but more importantly, better for the vendors, is people trust us. We are a trusted brand. We've been around for a very long time. It's, using the Jensen Button one as an example, that's a big investment. At Multisport, we have comfortably sold products on our e-commerce platform worth over £10,000 each item. Somebody has got to trust us to make that purchase and trust us in knowing that they will get their product and be happy with the product that they receive.
So we got away with it last week by not mentioning artificial intelligence at all. But I know that, having looked at a lot of financial results from publishers this year, many people are placing AI at the sort of top of their investment level. And a lot of them are saying that they're going to use it to supercharge their subscription businesses. So what do you see as being the main use case for artificial intelligence for you, if at all?
I wouldn't say it's going to supercharge my subscription solution for me. I still very much rely on, as I mentioned, my team. I think I have a very good team here. We're a small team, but I don't see it directing the sort of subscription strategy that we should be doing here at Multisport. But what I do see it doing is supporting in smaller tasks that we have internally, whether that be copywriting that was previously kind of held or managed or overlooked by editorial, that we are now able to come up quite quickly and seamlessly within our own team. So small tasks, I think it would be a huge benefit for. And also things around maybe repetitive tasks. That in itself would mean it's going to improve workflows for teams internally. Our email platforms provider .digital currently has or introduced AI within their solution. Now, it's very basic. It just gives recommendations on subject lines and headers that we send out in our communication. So it's not groundbreaking, but somebody like, again, I don't know if they do this, but someone like Zephyr, we were talking about before, the payment solution provider, paywall solutions. If they can incorporate AI in such a way that it's registering how a customer is behaving on a page and present to them real-time AI paywall solutions to say, we've seen this customer has been clicking a lot of articles. They clearly like lots around Lewis Hamilton. Let's show them a paywall message that's something along the lines of, here, why not subscribe to Motorsport Magazine where you can get a load of Lewis Hamilton articles, and here's a link. Here are 3 links that you can take advantage of. So stuff like that, utilizing AI. I also know one other publisher off the top of my head that is utilizing AI to power their search within the website, which I think is pretty clever as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really good use case for it. The bad use cases are the people like the guy I saw today going, actually, AI is really powerful. It's just enabled me to create a computer game from scratch, and it was just a Angry Birds clone. Like all he did was type in like Angry Birds do again, and that was it. So yeah, I think you're right that it's more about the kind of the small steps in the short term that'll actually add up to the big differences. One of the things that I do want to touch upon before we finish is there's been some research out that we've spoken about propensity to pay here, but there was some research from Toolkits that showed that if people are aware that it's much easier to cancel subscriptions, it's also suggested to lead to them taking up more subscriptions. To what extent do you feel like we are moving towards a world where it's just as easy to cancel subscriptions as it is to take them up? And what impact do you think that's going to have on people's perception of magazine brands?
So I think it's worth noting that there's discussions currently about new legislation that's coming in. That's going to make it compulsory to potentially make sure that customers are able to seamlessly be able to cancel their subscription. I always think of it as, how would I like to be treated?
Yes.
So I would say, you should make, we as publishers should make it as easy as possible. One of the things that we are looking, we've already started the work internally here at Multisport. It's not something that I would implement straight away, but it is definitely something that I will make as easy as possible for a subscriber to almost, I would say click a button and their subscription gets cancelled, but it would take them down a funnel. It wouldn't be a case of press a button, your subscription's ended. It would almost be a button of, if a customer is on a bundle, you hit cancel my subscription, pop up appear saying, are you sure you want to do this? Or would you also be interested in a lower offer, which is only digital only, for example? So guiding them down a funnel for them to eventually cancel their subscription, fine, they cancel their subscription. But again, with all data, we're obviously capturing data to some degree extent. I will then try targeting that subscriber again. For us here at Multisport, I want to just make sure, because I know there's a number of publishers out there. I've heard this from talking to other people in the sector, that it's actually exceptionally difficult to cancel your subscription. That's not the case for us. If somebody subscribes to Multisport Magazine, they send us an email to say, I want to cancel my subscription. Ideally, within 24 hours, we've got back to them and we've cancelled their subscription for them. We respect their wishes and we cancel their subscription. Or even if they call us on the phone, because we have an in-house customer service team, we always honour customers' willingness to cancel the subscription.
I think that makes such a difference, particularly what you said there about, just because we work in publishing doesn't mean we're not also consumers of subscriptions as is. And I feel like sometimes, particularly newspapers, in fact, I'm going to say something, but I'll bleep it out, make it impossible to unsubscribe. It is absolutely.
Yeah, that's exactly who I was thinking of, but I didn't want to say.
Ladies, gentlemen, everybody, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Media Voices. Thanks again to Zamir for taking part. We recorded that very late on a Friday evening, so we're appreciative not just of his availability, but for the coherence that he managed to bring to that discussion at the end of a long week. It is now 5 to 11 on the Sunday the 5th, so roughly 8 hours before this episode goes live, and I've just finished editing it after an incredibly long and arduous journey back, but that doesn't mean that the work stops. So if you would like to subscribe to Media Voices, you can go to voices.media and sign up to our newsletter. Now, in that newsletter, you can find the 4 most important stories from the media world from the previous day, so you're clued up when you go into your morning meeting. You can also find out more about our partnerships, such as the one we have with MX3, who are doing an AI summit in a couple of weeks. Not the weak source bullshit that the government's just done, but actually something that is tangible and practical for publishers. So you can go to voices.media to find out more about that. But listen, it's late and I don't want to piss my neighbors off too much, so thank you so much for listening. Have a fantastic week and goodbye.